Hi guys, and welcome to your first video for flipped learning for GCSE English language. This will be one of a series of videos that you're going to be watching over the course of your year here with us at Derby College, and hopefully they will help you get you one step closer to that grade 4 or higher in English language. But first, a few do's and don'ts here at the college. I'm not a huge fan of don'ts, however they are important in this particular regard. Things like disruptive behaviour, causing distractions to other learners, and being disrespectful and intolerant of others will not be accepted in this classroom. If you are unable to follow these first two rules, you will be asked to leave. Coats and hats as a college policy are not to be worn inside, let alone in the classroom. However, coats may be allowed due to temperature changes. Eating and drinking in the classroom is also not permitted by college policy. However, I will allow water as long as it is in a sealable bottle. Mobile phones tend to be a large issue for most people, and in this classroom I suspect it's going to be the same. Mobile phones must be on silent or turned off before entering the classroom. Some situations may require you to have your phone out. Certain tasks will need your phone in order to complete them. However, this is only when the teacher has given you permission to do so, and when you are asked to place them away, you must also do so immediately. Finally, as part of the security requirements here at Derby College, it is vital that you wear your ID badge at all times. These following rules are non-negotiable and need to be followed very stringently. Okay, with those boring rules out of the way, let's move on to our new format for learning. Now, the flipped classroom for most people is a new concept. You may have come across it before, but essentially it puts you in control of your learning. Now, traditionally, your classroom has always been set out with the teacher standing at the front, giving information, talking, and you're expected to write down and make notes or pay really close attention and then somehow utilize that information. And this comes with a few problems. Things like low-level disruptions, so people talking or not being able to stay focused for as long as you need to. Time also becomes a huge issue when you want to try and use these new skills. You don't have enough time to do it. And finally, sitting and listening for that length of time is just boring, absolutely boring. And so we're going to try something a little different. Now, in the traditional classroom, we have an issue which we call low-level disruption. And that's when something like a distraction pulls your attention away from the teacher, and it could be your phone vibrating in your pocket, it could be someone walking by the classroom, it could be a squirrel in a tree nearby. Anything can distract you, and the downside of that is you instantly forget what's being said, and that leaves you with an awkward position. Do you put your hand up? Do you ask for information to be repeated? If that's the case, how does the rest of the room feel towards that? Often we get that usual sigh and that feel that you're being targeted, and we don't want that. It also cuts in dramatically on time within the lesson if we're having to repeat information again and again and again, because different people are losing their attention at different times. What is the result of having to repeat yourself this many times? Often students will then be given the task and simply not understand what is being asked of them. They don't fully understand the skills that they have just listened to and hopefully learned, and they end up feeling lost, confused and frustrated because everyone is at a different point and a different level of understanding. So to minimize that problem, this is where flipped learning comes in, where we completely switch the model upside down. No longer is the teacher standing at the front of the classroom, and giving you the information, but instead in short 10-minute videos outside of the lesson, you are learning the vital skills needed. Also outside of the lesson, it gives you time to reflect and check your own understanding. If you're not sure, you can go back and re-watch elements of the video. It also means that you can come into lesson with pre-prepared questions on things that the video may not have made very clear to you. This means that in lessons is now dedicated to only two things. Rather than giving you information, it's now about feedback and checking with your peers and teacher about what you have already learnt. It also means that a large amount of your lesson time is actually to creating and applying the new skills that you've learned. And it's this creating and applying where the more fun activities can happen, rather than filling in simple sheets or jotting and annotating. So flipped learning allows your lessons to become a lot more fun. So hopefully that explains flipped learning a bit more clearly to you, and the idea that we are hopefully going to go through into the new year. Flipped learning gives you the chance to be in charge of your own learning. It is no longer a responsibility of the teacher to nag and check and bicker and try to force you to learn something. It's entirely up to you. We have a lot to be learning this year, and one thing I want you to be aware of is the table on this particular slide. Over the next 8 weeks, we plan on looking at a wide range of different skills, all of which can be found and are tested in your GCSE exam, both papers. We will be looking at things like language, how to annotate, how to summarise, how to analyse structure, and how to evaluate. We'll also be looking at how to write good question 5 style answers. These questions are designed to be focused on creative writing and non-fiction style writing, such as persuasive piece of writing. Within 8 weeks, we hope to cover 80% of all the skills that are being tested in your exam. So how are we going to learn these new skills? Well, this is where YouTube comes in. On my YouTube channel, I have created 2 sets of videos. The first I'm referring to as skills lessons. These are the videos you will need to watch prior to attending the lesson. These are the videos that will be mandatory. These videos will contain all the key information and skills required to answer at a good level in your exam, but they will also require key information about what is going to occur in the next English lesson. As a result of this, failing to watch these videos will mean that you start to fall behind very, very quickly. You will find you'll come to lessons unprepared, unfocused, and not be aware of exactly what is going on. Additionally though, I've created some videos which I'm titling audiobooks. These videos are optional. They are essentially me reading out the text that is going to be used in the future lesson. Why am I doing this? Well, first of all, it gives you a preview of the texts that are going to be used in that lesson, so you have a rough idea of topic and the styles of writing that may be present. It also gives you an idea of the kind of themes and thoughts that might be appearing in the text. The more familiar you are with a piece of text, the more easy it is for you to analyse. Finally, they can be used in lessons as a reading assistant. Rather than relying on the teacher at the front reading out the text and having to repeat sections, you can do this independently and on your own. You can make use of peers as well. However, you may find hearing a piece of text being read enthusiastically and correctly with the emphasis on key words more easy to understand.